Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Tony Glasgow. I am your host, and today on the show, I'll be talking with Malik Boynton. He's a defensive back coach, a receivers coach, trainer, and he's got some things to talk about with some of the things he's doing. But before that, I want to talk about my featured business, which is Brit's Kicks. You guys have heard me talking about him before. He's actually been on the show. He does custom shoes. He does 3D printing. Some of the things that he does is just amazing. Some of the things I can't, believe that he does. He does an airless basketball. He does keychains, some frame printing. So check him out. Everything will be in the description, and also on the screen here. You can just kind of check him out on Instagram, see what he's doing. So let's go ahead and welcome Malik to the show. How you doing this evening?
How you doing, sir? I'm doing good.
All right, good. Why don't you go ahead and just kind of let everybody know who you are, what you do, where you come from, and what you're getting into.
All right, I appreciate you having me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm Malik Boynton. I'm with NFL Draft Diamonds, and I'm a trainer over at NFL Draft Prep Academy. I'm partnered with DB Network, some great guys over there, Mark Parson, D Maggot, and then, obviously Damon Talbot over at NFL Draft Diamonds. I'm an NFL consultant, but I'm also a trainer, like I said, and I work with the ages of youth all the way to pro. Okay. I believe in the trickle-down effect. So I got the older guys out there with the young guys, hoping they can, spread their knowledge and mentor the guys on the way to everybody chasing their dreams. So that's what I believe in, and that's kind of how we operate over at NFL Draft Prep Academy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've never seen that style before with the, you say the younger, older guys out there kind of teaching the younger guys. Is that some guys that you're training will help out teaching, or how does that work?
So naturally it turns into that, but really all it is we come together, we work on the fundamentals of the defensive back position. So we break it down to the T, and is the work don't discriminate. It's something everybody can do. It ain't a lot of cones out. And the earlier they out there, the better they are, and the faster they learn, and the better they can get later on. So my pro guys, they don't let it slow them down. We make sure we do a good job of not letting the young guys slow down the pros at all. But at the same time, the pros, they're a little more polished and a lot more knowledgeable. So, they catch on quick, and they'll see something and they'll point it out. So it'd be cool. But yeah, man, like it's working good. It's a good thing to see.
All right, that's good. I met you you work with Paxton Williams, met you through his father, David. They've been on the show and everything like that, and he kind of hooked us up like that. So when was the last time you worked with Paxton? I see him every once in a while, but when did you work with him last?
Me and Paxton actually worked together last week. He just started a bus tour with, man, I don't want to mess the name up, so y'all will definitely have to go check that out. They do some good work, though. But he started a bus tour this week. So I saw him just recently at the TCU football camp, and he kind of took off from there, and he'd been to Baylor and Texas A&M so far. So Paxton does a great job. He's a hard worker, and as he grows up and learns a little bit more about the game and gets a little more experience under his belt, I think he's gonna be an elite player.
Yeah, he definitely brings the energy. I know that. Yeah. So explain this about, I never heard about this before, the bus tour. I know you don't want to mention the company or anything, but is that exactly what they do? They just load kids up on the bus and they go to camps, or how does that work?
So to my understanding, like I said before, I'm not 100% sure exactly how they doing it, but to my understanding, they kind of mentoring the guys through football. They're giving them opportunities to showcase their abilities on the tour at a bunch of universities, but along the way they building connections, networking, and guiding the next generation. There's coaches on the tour. I'm pretty sure it's like some form of ministry on the tour. So it's an overall good thing.
Okay, that's good. I need to ask him about that. Check that out. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background, where you came from, where you played high school, where you played college ball, and just kind of fill us in on that.
I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Originally, I'm actually from Downriver, Michigan, so Southwest Detroit, Ecorse, River Rouge area. Growing up, I was always in River Rouge football program as a junior Panther. And once I got to high school, you know, my mom got sick. She had breast cancer, so she got really, really ill. And she wanted me at the time, you know, River Rouge didn't have the best reputation educationally or academically. But they was in the midst of making a transformation by hiring a coach, Corey Parker, over there, who is now at the University of Illinois as the defensive back coach. So he gave this pitch to me, like trying to get me to stay. And, you know, looking back on it, I wish I would have, but I ended up transferring over to Melvindale High School. And, you know, we went over there, me and a couple of my guys, and we went over there and, you know, we played our high school career over there. I played every sport, football, basketball, baseball, ran track a little bit. And, you know, I got granted the opportunity to go to Austin Peay State University out of high school, which is a small Division I school out in Clarksville, Tennessee. So I got there, played all 4 years, started every game of my career. And I got, you know, I was blessed enough to get an opportunity with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I went there. And that kind of launched my career. I didn't stay long, but from there I got multiple other opportunities. I went and played for the AAF with the Memphis Express, and then I went to Canada for a couple of years and signed a couple contracts up there. And you know that kind of led me to where I am now, training the youth and leading the next generation of young athletes.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned a little bit about your training style, how your sessions go or whatever, but can you kind of just give a little more insight on how you do each session? Is it group sessions, mostly group sessions? Are you one-on-ones, or how does that work?
So I go group sessions 3 times a week with wide receivers and DBs 3 times a week. And then through there, you know, most of the time I got a little more free time, but right now it's camp season. So I pull up to the camps with my guys and kind of, you know, like I'm there to support and, you know, just watch and see what we need to work on when we get back in the lab. So my schedule really been group sessions throughout the week, but I am still available for independent, you know, solo sessions. I offer it all. So whatever my athletes need, I just try to make sure I got that resource and I offer that service to make sure they're successful.
Okay. All right. And how long have you been training at this level?
At this level, to this magnitude, I just started in January, but I've been training since I was like 14 years old. And that's where the idea, you know, derived from. Like when I came up, I had younger guys. I'm the oldest of 4, so I naturally was like, you know, trying to be the leader of the pack. But, you know, growing up, I had guys that looked up to me that was still my same age. So I took it upon myself to kind of try to be a leader in a positive way. And we would go to the field and get work and I would lead that. So it came kind of natural once I got older.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And among other things, you mentioned to me earlier that you were a high school coach as well. So how was that experience? Is that something you could build on, or is it just something that you enjoyed, or how did you like that?
The high school experience was great. You know, I spent 2 years as a defensive back coach and I learned a lot, and I was blessed enough to get my 3rd year in high school. I was pretty young, very young. I was promoted into the defensive coordinator role. And, you know, I'm at a 6A high school in Texas and I'm the defensive coordinator at 27 years old. And, you know, I'm, you know, just pushing, trying to figure out the best way to, you know, like execute my vision on defense while also abiding by, you know, the vision of the head coach. So I gained a lot of knowledge from the head coach. He taught me a lot, and, you know, we got things rolling and we had a pretty good year on defense. We ended up leading the district and defensive touchdowns. So that was a big positive. But it was all in all a blessing just to be able to be around those athletes day in and day out and affect and impact their days. So, you know, it showed me a different side of, you know, what coaching can be for you.
Yeah. I could just imagine having a coach that young trying to, you know, tell me, you know, actually teaching me the ins and outs of everything like that, because he's been through it as well. It seemed like it'd be a little bit more relatable to someone that's, you know, 17, 18 years old to have a 25, 26-year-old coach. So how did that rapport go with those boys?
I mean, you know, like you said, I don't run from discomfort or anything like that. I address everything in in the atmosphere. So I know I'm young coming into it. I know I look even younger than I actually am. I'll be 29 this month, but I know I look around like 20, 21, 22. So I know I got to come a little bit more sharp than, the more veteran seasoned coaches, because they already got that credibility and that respect and that reputation. So I make sure I'm on point with what I'm doing. And, I talk to the guys with respect. I'm not one of them people that, like try to coach you with no dignity and like fuss at you and cuss at you. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna push you, I'm gonna be on you, but it's a certain respect level I make sure I never cross with my guys. So, they trust me, and they ultimately they know I want what's best for them, and we working towards the same goal. So even when we do have those times where we might butt heads or disagree, we can take a step back and just recompose and remember that we working together for the same goal.
Yeah. It's got to be a fine line, working on that, trying to not be too buddy with them, because you have to do a job, but you still want to be a mentor to them and someone that they look up to. So I imagine that's a pretty thin line to walk, right?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. As the time goes, the line get a little bit bigger for you, because, like I say, once they start to trust you, then they know like it's coming from a good spot, even when you do have those moments. Because I mean, I'm a person too, so I'm intense about what I want, and what I want is them to be their best. So until we get there, I'm a push and I'm intense. So I know a lot can come with that, but at the end of the day, we working for results. Yeah. And when we can be mature enough to do that, the sky is the limit.
Yep. Do you think you'd ever jump back into high school or coaching at all? You think you would like to move up in the college ranks or anything like that? Or are you good where you are right now, you think?
Honestly, right now, I'm just kind of trying to figure everything out, because I got a lot of stuff going on, and it could go multiple routes. So, I'm not saying I'm not going to be coaching high school. It just had to be a really, really good situation. But at the same time, I'm exploring other avenues and, meeting people that, bring other things to the table for me. So I got a decision to make soon. And, I'm definitely not scratching high school off the list, but I'm definitely hearing out other options.
Yeah. Well, one good thing is you've got age on your side. You're still really young, and in the coaching game and in the training game, guys go to 60, 70 years old. So you've got plenty of time to do your thing, do what you want to do. So, man, I know you're going to do well. I can just feel it in you that you're going to succeed in what you do. All right.
I appreciate that.
So let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that you are doing other than training, because you were talking about a DB retreat that's coming up later this month. So fill everybody in on what's going with that.
Okay, so later this month, June 30th through July 3rd, we're going to be hosting the hottest event of the summer. We're going to have all the DBs, all the DB brains in that you can think of down in the Arlington, Texas area, from June 30th to July 3rd, and we're doing nothing but the defensive back position. So we got D1 coaches coming down to work with the pro guys. We got about 12 of them. We got some of the best trainers in the country coming to work with the college and the high school guys. And then we got some of the best up and coming coaches and trainers in the country coming to work with the middle school group. So, it's going to be a great event. We got an NFL executive pulling up. We got a couple agencies. Young Money Sports Agency will be represented there. Man, we gonna shoot it out. We're gonna post it on DB Network, NFL Draft Diamonds, and broadcast it on a platform of over 1 million people. So there's gonna be a lot of people tapped in. There's gonna be some real good work, and the coaches will get to showcase their abilities and network. The players will get to showcase their abilities and network, and everybody that attends should get something positive out of it.
All right. That sounds pretty nice, man. I'll make sure to put all the information for that event in there. Have you, I know you attend other camps throughout the year as well. Are you planning on having the rest of your summer pretty much filled with camps?
Yeah, pretty much for the next month and a half for sure. Yeah. July to slow down a little bit, but yeah, for the next, it's definitely gonna be like that.
Yeah. So this is big time camp season. So, who have you worked with that that you've put in a D1 school, or you think getting ready to blow up and get into a D1 school? I don't know if you want to mention names or anything like that, but you have any guys that's in D1 or on their way to D1?
I got a bunch of guys that I've worked with. I don't like to mention names because I know I'm not the only one that's worked with them. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm claiming anybody else's work. I like to tell all my guys, whatever opportunity comes to you came from your work. I was just a vessel and a resource for you on the way. So I don't look at it that way. But I will say this: I was blessed enough to work with multiple pros, multiple college athletes, Division I, all the way down, and multiple, national recruits at the high school level. So, I'm more than blessed to definitely be in my shoes at the age I'm at, and be blessed with the people I know and the knowledge I've been given at this age. I'm definitely blessed and grateful. And I'll leave it at that. The athletes I work with, they earn their own scholarships. They earn their own contracts, and that's a product of their work. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. That's admirable. And I do want to say one thing to clarify. I said D1, but as we know, kids are going to go at all levels: D1, D2, D3,
yes, sir.
and AI.
Yes, sir.
So I didn't want to leave any of the other guys out, but
most definitely.
Yeah, it's just the first thing that comes to mind. All right, so now I want to just kind of get into a little bit of nuts and bolts of things, what I normally talk with about trainers or recruiters and coaches, and it's NIL, because that's the hot thing. Everybody's talking about that right now. So what are your thoughts on it? How do you feel about it? Is it a good thing or a bad thing in your opinion?
I think the NIL is a great idea. I think just like everything else that you try to implement, after a tradition has been set, and you kind of make a progressive move like that, especially one so drastic, I think it's always going to be a lot of stuff to work through on the front end. But if they can regulate it and kind of get more control on it, man, I think it'll be great. I think it'll be great for both parties because, the athletes deserve it. But at the same time, you don't want to have to feel like your program is at risk because a guy ain't happy about the money he making at your school. It's a bunch of other things and factors that should be into a college experience that should drive your moves. Like, I think the NIL pushes guys to, kind of steer off of their pathway a little bit when it comes to, future moves and entering the transfer portal and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of these youth, they come from backgrounds that are just all different types. And so some of these guys, like you're saying, complaining about not making the money that he should, they feel like they, deserve it and they need it, and they probably do with their family. So I can see where that's coming from. But do you see that becoming a bigger problem, or do you think schools will just kind of at some point just start cutting that off and cutting their losses?
I think school's gonna end up, just making that decision a little bit earlier because, just like everything else, people read patterns. So it's almost like the stock market. Like, you're not gonna keep investing into a product that ain't gonna give you no return. You're not gonna keep doing it. So when you see the same trend going on, you see a guy come out and he demanding a lot of money or he demanding a lot of stuff, and he not really focused on the football aspect of it, that's a red flag for you as a coach.
Yeah. So with all the work that you've told us about and all the things that you do, where do you find time, or when do you find time to just kind of hang out and take some time for Malik and do what you want to do?
Yeah, man, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Everything that I do is what I dreamed of doing. So the work is my piece. It's my piece. Like, yeah. And that might sound cliche, but I really do mean that. Like, it's the summertime. I was in the education field, so I'm really not busy during the day. I'm really on vacation. So I plan, these sessions and these events into my free time because I really love to do it. So, I enjoy every second of what I do, the training, the connecting with athletes, helping them find opportunities, reaching out to coaches, telling them about athletes. Like, I enjoy every part of it, programming, making my programs for my workouts. Yeah. So it might seem like work, but it's actually like it feel like a game simulation to me because it's something I want to do. So I have fun doing everything I do.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. How often do you, I know you just said you do it a lot, but is it like on a regular basis, daily basis, you're networking with coaches and recruiters and athletes? I know athletes for sure, but is it a daily thing for you?
For the most part, yeah. I'm talking to coaches, agents, athletes every day. Yeah, every day. Yeah. So yeah, it's a daily thing for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I see that you told us about the DB retreat, and I'm sure they're going to be more in the future. So are you planning one each summer, or are you going to try to do more than one per summer, in the future?
Honestly, I'm just focused on the one I got right now. And once I see how it roll and, like who gets behind it, pause, then we can, we can figure out how we want to move forward with it in the future.
Yeah. Okay. I know I may have asked you a little bit about this, in one of the other questions, but what do you see yourself doing in the future with this? Is this going to be more like an enterprise thing, or you want to move on to something different, or how do you see yourself in the future with it?
Honestly, with the way my life been going, I kind of been focused on the right now, and I do know I got a lot of avenues I can take what I'm doing. And, I'm just praying every day and walking in my purpose and hoping, I get that sign to see which way I need to, walk, or, which path I need to follow. So I'm taking it day by day. But I do have goals and aspirations. Like I said, I'm walking in that purpose day by day. And, I'm just waiting on that sign from God to tell me which way I need to take, which avenue I need to take this.
Yeah. Man, that's the smartest thing that you can do, man. Sit and wait and keep your eyes open and hustle all the time. I know you're hustling. I can tell by just what you're saying that you're always hustling on it, but you're going to stumble across what it is exactly you're supposed to do if you keep your eyes open and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to talk about, or any other things you want to, plug or promote?
Oh, not at the moment. Actually, yes, I do. It's a Texas Top 22 camp coming up out here in Dallas. It'll be at DeSoto High School. I do not have an exact date. Actually, yes, I do. I just lied to you. So July 12th and 13th, or 11th and 12th. 11th and 12th, my bad. July 11th and 12th. We'll be throwing a Texas Top 22, and that's headed by Ryan Tennyson. And I know my guy by the name of Mook, and they train at Elite Sports University, or Elite Sports U, in the Lancaster area. They some real good dudes, and that's gonna be a real hot camp. It's their first time running it this summer, and that's gonna be something to look out for. They got a bunch of people signed up, some top talent, and a lot of kids gonna come together and compete for that top 22 spot. Yeah. So that'll be real cool.
All right, cool. You gotta get me in that one too. I know I'm going to try to make it to your DB retreat, but I'm going to get to that one as well, man. It seemed like you and these gentlemen here with Elite Sports, they're just things just popping up all the time. I mean, people are doing things all the time, and I love to see that, man. I love that entrepreneurship and people just hustling, because that's what we have to do right now. We kind of have to do what we can and come up with new ideas, fresh ideas, use our imagination for things. So that's good, man. I love it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, Malik. I appreciate you taking out time. I know your time is very valuable. I thank you for coming on and giving us some insight. And I hope I can get with you again. And I'm definitely going to make it to your retreat, but I want to get you on the show again a little bit later, maybe after summer.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, well, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no problem. I thank everybody for watching. And don't forget to check out Britt's Kicks. Get your kicks there, get your custom gear, things that you need. Check it out on Instagram, and it'll be in the description as well. Information for Malik will be in the description as well, and all the things that he talked about. So you can feel free to check all that out, and we'll see y'all next time. I appreciate it. You have a good night.